There's a quiet language no one teaches you. It happens in the space between two people standing near each other. Not in the words, not in the smiles, but in the inches. The distance someone keeps from you is rarely accidental. It's a quiet signal showing exactly how they see you right now. Most people miss this entirely and walk away confused about where they stand. You replay the conversation in your head, searching for clues that were never in the words. But the truth was already there, written in the space they chose to keep. Today you'll learn 3 things hiding inside that space between you. How to read it, how to shift it, and the final reveal most people never notice. That last one quietly changes how every future conversation feels for you. Think about the last time someone you liked stood just a little too far away. You felt it before you understood it, that small ache of invisible distance. Your mind blamed your words, your face, your timing, anything but the truth. The truth was simpler than that, and it had almost nothing to do with you. Space is the body's honesty when the mouth is still being polite. People will lie with words long before they lie with the distance they choose. Watch the feet, the shoulders, the small angle of the chest toward or away. That tiny shift tells you more than 10 minutes of conversation ever could. Here's the first layer most people overlook completely in everyday life. When someone genuinely feels safe with you, their body quietly closes the gap. Not dramatically, not obviously, just a slow inch forward when you speak. You'll see their shoulders soften and their feet point fully toward yours. That small forward lean is the body whispering, "I want more of this." Now picture the opposite. Someone who keeps a polite but firm distance. Their feet point sideways, their shoulders angle away, their chin tilts elsewhere. They're still smiling, still nodding, still saying all the right warm things. But their body has already decided you're someone to be friendly with, not close to. This is a rejection, and that's the part quiet people misread the most often. It simply means they haven't placed you yet in the circle of people they trust. That circle isn't closed to you. It's just waiting for a different kind of signal. And the signal is rarely louder words. It's something far gentler than that. Notice how children stand near the adults they feel safest around. They don't announce it, they don't explain it, they just quietly drift closer. Grown people do the exact same thing, only with more polish and more denial. The drift is still there, you just have to learn to actually see it. Here's a quiet practice that changes how you read a room forever. When you enter a space, don't look at faces first, look at the distances. Notice who is standing inside someone's space and who is hovering at the edge. You'll start seeing the invisible architecture that holds every social group together. There's a second layer underneath the first, and this is where it gets interesting. The space someone keeps from you tells you how they see your status in their world. Not status like money or job, but emotional status, the weight your presence carries. People give more space to people they quietly feel uncertain or intimidated around. This is the part that shocks most quiet people when they first realize it. Sometimes that careful distance isn't disinterest at all, it's a kind of respect. They're watching you, reading you, deciding how to approach someone they find compelling. What looked like rejection was actually them taking you more seriously than expected. Think of someone who walks into a room and people instinctively make space for them. That space isn't about fear, it's about a quiet recognition of a settled presence. You don't need to be loud to create it. In fact, loudness usually shrinks it. Stillness creates more space around you than any performance ever could. This is where being naturally quiet becomes a hidden advantage instead of a flaw. Loud people fill space with sound, but quiet people fill it with attention. And attention given carefully pulls others toward you in ways noise never can. Your stillness is not a weakness, it's a kind of gravity most people lack. But here's the part most people miss about reading distance correctly. Distance only tells the truth when you compare it to how they stand with others. Someone might naturally be a more reserved person who keeps everyone at arm's length. That isn't about you, and reading it as personal will quietly break your confidence. So watch how they stand with the cashier, the coworker, the friend nearby. Then watch how they stand with you, and look for the small difference. The difference is the message, not the absolute distance itself. The single shift in observation will save you from 1,000 imagined rejections. Try this in your next conversation and notice what your own body is doing. Are your feet pointed at them or already angled toward the nearest exit? Is your chest open and turned toward them or quietly shielded by a crossed arm? You'll often find your body has decided things your mind hasn't admitted yet. Here's a small move that changes how people read your presence almost instantly. When someone speaks, square your shoulders gently toward them and hold still. Don't lean in too far, don't crowd them, just give them your full physical attention. That quiet alignment makes people feel chosen in a way words rarely can. Most people fidget, glance around, shift their weight while others are talking. When you stay still and aimed, you become the rare person who feels fully present. People remember that feeling long after they've forgotten what was actually said. Stillness is a kind of generosity, and almost no one is offering it anymore. Now I want to ask you something before we go deeper into the next layer. Think of one person right now whose distance from you has always confused you. Maybe they seem warm but stay strangely far, or seem cold but linger close. Drop a word in the comments, just warm but far or cold but close, whichever fits. Your answer might help another quiet person reading through and recognizing themselves. Sometimes naming the pattern out loud is the first step to finally understanding it. And reading the replies often reveals truths your own situation was hiding from you. Then come back, because the next layer is the one that changes everything. Here's something almost no one talks about when it comes to physical space. The way someone enters your space tells you what they want from you. A sudden close approach with high energy is usually about them, not about you. They want to be received, entertained, validated, lifted by your attention. But watch for the slow approach, the careful step, the gentle arrival nearby. That person is reading you first, making sure they're welcome before settling in. That slow arrival is almost always the deeper, more sincere kind of interest. It's the body saying, I want to be near you, but only if you want me here. And when you yourself learn to approach others that way, something shifts. People relax around you in a way they don't relax around louder, faster arrivals. You become the rare person who doesn't barge into anyone's emotional space. That alone makes you feel safer to be around than most people they meet. There's another quiet detail in space that almost everyone misses every single day. Watch what someone does with the space behind them when they talk to you. People who feel comfortable with you don't guard their back, they leave it open. People who feel uncertain will often stand with a wall or barrier behind them. It's a subtle thing, but it tells you how much they're letting their guard down. When someone slowly turns so their back is exposed near you, that's quiet trust. Your nervous system has decided you're safe, even if their words stay neutral. Notice this once, and you'll start seeing it everywhere in your daily life. Now here's where most people get the whole thing backward in their own life. They try to close the distance with words, with charm, with trying harder. But space doesn't respond to effort, it responds to ease, and those are different things. The more you push to close it, the more the other person quietly steps back. The move is the opposite of what your anxious mind wants you to do. You hold your ground, soften your posture, and let your stillness do the inviting. People drift toward calm the same way they drift toward warmth on a cold day. You don't have to chase them in, you only have to be worth drifting toward. This is why quiet people often become unexpectedly magnetic over time. They stop performing and start simply being present, and the space around them changes. Others begin standing closer, lingering longer, choosing them in small invisible ways. Not because anything loud happened, but because something settled finally happened inside. There's one more layer, and this is the one I held back for the end. It's the most counterintuitive truth about the space between you and another person. Most people think closeness means someone sees you as important or attractive or worthy. But the deepest signal isn't how close they stand, it's how their distance changes. Watch what happens to the space between you across an entire conversation. Does it shrink slowly as you talk, even if neither of you mentions it? Does it stay frozen at the same polite distance from the first minute onward? Or does it quietly grow as the minutes pass, even while the smiles stay warm? A shrinking distance means something is unlocking, even if nothing is being said. A frozen distance means you're being kept in a fixed category in their mind. A growing distance means something inside them is quietly decided to move on. None of these are about your worth, they're about fit, timing, and chemistry. This is why two people can have the same conversation with wildly different outcomes. One walks away closer, one walks away further, and the words were almost identical. The space did the real talking, while the words were just polite background music. Once you see this, you stop taking distance personally and start reading it accurately. So the next time you talk with someone who matters, Watch the space, not the script. Notice where they start, where they drift, and where they finally settle near you. That quiet movement is the most honest report you'll ever get about how they see you. And it's also the most honest report about how you're letting yourself be seen. Try one small thing this week in your very next real conversation. Plant your feet, soften your shoulders, and let the other person choose the distance. Don't lean in, don't step back, just stay still and aim, and quietly present. Then watch what their body does, because their body will always answer first. If something in this hit you, tell me in the comments which layer landed hardest. Was it the feet, the slow approach, the back turned in trust, or the shifting distance? Your answer helps the next quiet person find themselves inside one of these moments. And it helps me know which quiet truths to bring you next on this channel. If this gave you a new way to see the room you walk into every day, subscribe. Tap the bell so the next quiet insight finds you before the noise of the world does. There are many more of these small invisible signals waiting for you to finally notice. And once you see them, you don't go back to being lost in the space again. Remember this when you walk into your next room full of people and uncertainty. You don't need to fill the space, you only need to be someone worth standing near. The quiet ones who learn this stop chasing closeness and start quietly attracting it. And the space around you slowly becomes the most honest mirror you'll ever have.